All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start. So the video that I sent out to watch, how many people watched the video?
Oh, I have a question.
You say what?
I thought like first, fourth, like 3/4 of it.
Okay.
Kind of stopped towards the end.
Okay. Tell me about the 3/4 that you saw. What were your thoughts?
The first part, what I thought was interesting was how even when they had like these soldiers from like I guess what KGB, right? During KGB soldiers were still like willing to come out. And I always had the impression that like, when someone defects, once someone exposes their own like sense of secret, something usually, they go to jail, prison, or like they would be shot, something like that. But like seeing that these people like were actually like talking out about what they were doing, and then some of the one of the first guys who was speaking, I don't remember what he was saying, how like they began like they would go into the water to pretend that something happened. I can't remember on detail what was happening, but it was one of the first oldest who was talking. He was mentioning how they would actually go like do more things than just like about like fake news. They would actually go like try to make this evidence that looks real enough to fool people.
Okay. So remember, when these people defected, they weren't in Russia, right?
Yeah.
There is no way they would say this in Russian and still be alive. Not at all. We know what Russia does to people. So they were already in the States, right? So no big deal, right? They're not expecting to get assassinated here. But there has been numerous assassinations that have happened in Europe. One of the things that they don't talk about is that Budapest, Hungary, was a huge intel area for the Russians. They use it a lot for Russian operations in Europe, right? So when you watch the video, you realize the amount of energy that was put in to their active measures. You can see just how the amount of damage that it caused, right? So when we were talking earlier this week, there was a mention was that a lie will travel halfway around the world, and then the truth will. Yeah.
Lie will travel halfway around the world while the truth is still tying its shoelaces.
Correct.
Oh, you actually made this. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
So it's interesting because a lot of times, like if I tell Naeem something, right? I tell him, hey, I give him a message to pass on, and he still passes it on, it's going to get distorted. But it's still getting passed on. So now I'm just passing the message, but it's half true, right? It's hard to state, well, Mo didn't say it. Mo didn't lie. I mean, this part is true. Obviously, the remainder of what he said was true, right? What was the one big lie that shook the world?
They talked more so about I think the biggest thing they focused on specifically was before Pizzagate was the lie that the United States had leaked the AIDS virus.
Leaked the AIDS virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there were a number of other stories that dealt with the leak of the AIDS virus, right? So why would something like that be believable? Why would someone believe that? Go ahead.
Tuskegee.
Okay, Tuskegee. What happened with? Does anybody know about Tuskegee? Tuskegee experiment. Okay, the Tuskegee experiment is when they injected syphilis into Black Americans.
Okay.
So when you have stories like that are true, it's like, well, that's not too far-fetched. I mean, they did do that to the Blacks in their own country, right? Why would they not do this to us? Right. So you got Tuskegee experiments. What other items or things that happened in the past would make this extremely believable?
I keep forgetting the G word for it.
What's the G word? Gentrification?
Not gentrification. Specifically with genes was the word for it when you control a population genetically.
You have that.
Yes, what's the word for it? Genetics.
Genetics. But then think about this.
Eugenics.
Eugenics, yeah.
Sorry.
But you think about this. You think about the African continent, right? African continent was torn by slavery, the slave trade that happened in the Middle East. Africa and the Middle East is why you have Islam that's all over. Then you have the transatlantic slave trade, right? And then you have crazy colonialism, right? Most of the continent speaks French. So when you have this mix, it's like, well, it's not too far-fetched. It's like, well, maybe, America did want to control the black population by giving us AIDS, right? So it's not too far-fetched. It's not something that would be too far-fetched for believing. So that's why it spread like wildfire. Now, what helped it spread was having a legitimate source, or a source that seemed legitimate, print the information. Where was the information printed? Not you.
I know.
Where was it printed at? I'll give a hint. There's some people from this class that are from that country. India. Okay, that was quick. So it came from India, right? And later they discovered the two people, husband and wife, that actually printed this article. And how many years did it take to travel back and get told in the US on US News? Oh no, it was long.
First off to India, then it went to like some other like Asian country, and then it traveled up to Russia again, I think, and then it went
One African country to the next, but it took about over 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. 10. I thought it was like 3 or 4.
No. Because the way it works is so some now, because of technology, it's easier to push this information. But then there's a newspaper, right? So now you have this. There's talking about, oh, this is going on in Africa. The white Americans are getting rid of the blacks in South Africa. The other thing I didn't note that made this really believable is because of apartheid. So apartheid occurred at this time, and during apartheid, the Afrikaans, or white South Africans, were doing very. They pretty much controlled, they pretty much controlled Southern Africa, but they did the same thing to Namibia, and they were doing the same thing in Angola. So they were fighting a crazy war where they were taking over all of these South African countries. Only country that didn't get taken over was Botswana, because it became a British protectorate. The British didn't know they had diamonds. They would have probably been colonized as well, but they thought it was just a poor desert. Yeah, they should have minded. But so all these particular items created this perfect scenario where information go out quickly. All right. You think about disinformation, the last election, right? They talked about Pizzagate. What is Pizzagate? What is Pizzagate?
Wasn't that where somebody said Hillary Clinton was trafficking minors, and somebody raided a pizza joint in New York because they thought that it was the area that Hillary Clinton and the Clintons were trafficking children through?
Yes. Right? So to us, it seems crazy, right? It sounds like, oh, this is some crazy stuff. But you have to remember, this country is very diverse. Education levels are very diverse as well. Right? Just because you guys are here, you're like, oh, you guys are creme de la creme. If you travel to like parts of Alabama, Mississippi, you will be shocked. You will be shocked. Right? So the education levels vary so drastically. That's why if you look at how the voting is, like you look at cities like Chicago, St. Louis, these large metropolitan areas, you can see that they vote a certain way. The rural areas vote entirely different way. Why? Because we have different priorities. Our educational backgrounds are very different. And so we vote for the things that matter to us. Right? And that's another discussion I'll talk about maybe offline, but in terms of that and some other things, in terms of this information. But it's interesting, right? So you had Pizzagate. You also had a number of groups, right? So during this period, what group was one of the most known groups? What groups? What activist group? Huh? You had Proud Boys. I guess you could say activist group. And Proud Boys was ran by what? Was he a Caucasian male? He's Hispanic. Out of Florida, yeah. He's a Hispanic male. Yeah. And it's funny because the whole premise with the Proud Boys is that what? What was the premise?
I'm not sure about your answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Their premise is more so returning things to a more Eurocentric state.
Okay.
Or essentially America back before the melting pot. I'm not sure exactly what would be the politically correct way, I guess.
I think that's
Yeah.
politically as correct as you can say.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when you look at stats, you see that the country is becoming more and more diverse. Even those whites and blacks here are people are heavily mixed, right? I look at my own background, 70% is like European, right? 17% is pretty high. They're still gonna let me in Qantas, so I'm not worried. But it's fairly high. So it happens a lot. And so people now get this news like, oh, the country's going to change, the laws will be against you and stuff like that. Again, disinformation pushed out that affects various minority groups. The Black Lives Matter group, right? The largest Black Lives Matter group was controlled by who? Was it by Black people? Black Americans?
Website was like accepting donations, except they weren't like doing actually anything. With all the money they used to buy real estate with it.
I remember that. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that's so the largest groups were actually was Russia. The largest Black Lives Matter group were actually ran by Russia. And that's it's interesting because when you think about they were coordinating people to meet, right? They were coordinating BLM groups and ultra right wing groups. They would tell people, hey, meet up at this location. What do you think will happen? Yeah, fighting, all types of tension and stuff like that. So again, the active measures is a great tactic. You think about a fight, right? It's like, okay, we can fight, right? But Naeem, you're what, like 6'3"?
I just shy of it, yeah.
Okay, he's a little bigger than you, right? So I could take my luck. However, I could spread something that puts him in danger instead, right? I don't have to worry about getting attacked. Naeem's a big guy. Saw him in the rink. Maybe you don't, you're not a fighter, but maybe you are. But there's other ways to fight, right? And so, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to spread a lie, right? Make up a good lie, put it out. And then with technology, I can do it so well. There's something I want to share with you this evening, and it's about how the Chinese are using disinformation and AI, and they're targeting younger minds, right? Targeting younger minds. So let's think about some of the social media that younger people are using, and probably you guys as well. TikTok. What's the issue with TikTok?
Dance.
I mean, I was hearing some issues, I don't have it myself, but I was hearing like some issues that because it's Chinese owned, you can't really trust it, but then again, the same applies to.
It's actually an American company now. They
No.
operations in China.
Now, but back then it wasn't.
With
And-
ByteDance specifically.
And then like, how can, the thing is, the same applies to America. So like things, applications like Facebook, Snapchat, I mean, it's the only difference is it's a different country, different government. You have Democratic Party versus a more Communist Party. Same issue.
I would argue the biggest issue with like modern social media is that they're not incentivized to inform people truthfully. They're just incentivized to keep people on the platform.
Think about this, right? So TikTok is how many seconds are most TikToks? 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So individuals are people are learning to take all the information at 30 seconds, right? There's not any fact checking that happens on TikTok. It's like, okay, there's some people, younger people that will they'll try to get their news from TikTok. Prime example, my kids, right? My daughter, she'll come with me, I monitor everything. So I'm like, oh, okay, she's watching this TikTok. Huh? So she just retweeted, reposted, whatever. She's like, oh yeah, Daddy, I want to talk to you about something. I think about X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, what did you just watch? Oh, okay. All right, young lady, go here to this website, go fact check this, then come back to me and then explain more about this 30-second clip you viewed, and we'll talk about it more. And then she'll go and she'll review it, and she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, they didn't say it in the clip. I'm like, Amaya, it's only 30 seconds. You can do whatever you want in 30 seconds. It doesn't mean that it's verified. You know, everyone that gets a blue check, like even on Twitter, you can just buy those things now. I was like, you know, and that's the other thing they were talking about, you know, in terms of verification of what people say. Now you can just purchase these verifications, post stuff. But for individuals who are untrained in that, it becomes an issue. At CornCon, approximately 2 weeks ago, they had an entire section for children for disinformation. And there's a realization that children, younger children, teens and below, are getting a lot of information like a fire hose, and they're not fact checking it. They're taking it verbatim and they're just running with it. And that becomes an issue. One, easier to control, say, oh, you know, this is what's going on. Okay. And they'll just, you know, follow that, or having a lot of false facts at hand. What's interesting, during the last election, there were a lot of adults just like that. Yes.
Honestly, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, 'cause I haven't seen it much, but I've heard that a lot of people, like younger people nowadays, they if they need to look something up, they use TikTok rather than Google. So I'm like,
That alarmed the
or, like,
living
it- I
daylights out of
for
me.
some things, like,
Yeah.
you must feel something real quick on the fly versus with Google, you gotta, I mean, you have to do your own research, like, if you're looking for something fast and convenient, TikTok could be the way. And I just feel like a lot of young people going that route.
Well, you know, a lot of people are using GPT, right? Whether it's Chat GPT or there's other GPTs as well. And they'll ask questions like, how do I do this? They'll get the little paragraph, like, all right, I got this. I'm like, no, that is not how you're gonna do it. Like, you're end up hurting yourself. Like, I think some of these instructions are wrong. You should double check. Right. So it becomes an issue where we train ourselves to depend on yet something else to provide us the information and knowledge. Like, these tools are great, right? But you should not be, we'll say, like programming, right? You should not just be trusting somebody else to do the bulk of the work for you. Right? When we talk about secure coding and stuff like that, how you can hide dead code in applications. Imagine getting your code from someone that's generating, but you have no clue what the code is. You're like, oh, okay, I got all this Python code, great. And it's like, my friend, you have tons of dead code in here. There's a couple back doors. Do not copy and paste this into here. Like, yeah, save you time, but you need to go through. You need code reviews, all this other stuff. All right. There's another video I want to share over this weekend. It deals with how Russians took a high-level, trying to think of it, Estonian military officer and exploited him for years. This guy made news all over Europe when people understood the actual extent of Russia and stuff like that. I'll give you kind of the quick overview. A lot of times in countries, when people move from one country to the next, they may have heavy identity. So say if you're a first generation Indian, right? But you're born here, but your parents are from India. We'll just use India, right? A lot of people who don't truly integrate into society, they're still tied to their community or to their parents' community. And that's what happened to this individual in Estonia. Like, he's Estonian, but ethnically he's Russian, right? So he's Russian. You know, he believes in helping Mother Russia. He believes he has ties to Russia and stuff like that. And at the end, he realized that Russia just screwed him and his dad. And it happens a lot. And that was happening back in about 15 years ago. It was happening a lot with Chinese in this country, with the US government. So you had a lot of individuals that would come here. They wouldn't really integrate with society like they're here, but it's because people choose to live in these homogeneous communities, right? You know, I come to a community, it's majority Chinese, majority African-American. I don't integrate with the rest of society. So my viewpoints are very limited. And so it allows someone else to say, hey, you know, you're part of us, man. Like, they don't like you there. Like, help us out. And so later they get, in turn, weaponized. And it's easier to filter, well, I guess, place misinformation, disinformation, stuff like that. So I'll share a video. It's lovely. Well, sorry for the guy, but the video is good. It's a good learning point, and you get to see how these things actually happen overseas and stuff like that. Because remember, here you are extremely protected. But once you travel outside, there are a lot of things that you have to think about and how you move and stuff like that. All right. So I'm going to share the screen, and then we are going to talk about today's assignment. All right. Today's assignment is, I think it's rather easy. I say that, but we'll see. You can judge it later. All right, so this is it right here. All right, so this is just exploring data sets. And so what you're gonna do, it says, in this assignment, you're gonna delve into the realm of data sets related to cybersecurity. You're gonna select 2 data sets, each meeting specific criteria in terms of size and span. For each data set, you will analyze its relevance to the field of cybersecurity and discuss how it can be utilized for research projects. So here, choose a data set containing a minimum of 1,000 entries spanning 5 years. You'll choose a second data set containing a minimum of 500 entries spanning 3 years. And then you'll ensure that they're publicly available. And then for each data set, you'll write a paragraph. So that's 4 sentences per paragraph. That equals a paragraph. And then explain how the data can be used for cybersecurity research and analysis. And then highlight any specific types of cybersecurity threats, incidents, or trends that can be explored using the data. So what I've done, I've actually prepared this for you to make your job that much more easier. All right, so whenever I bless you. In the announcement page and email, you have links to data sets. All right, so you have Google Trends, you have Google Dataset Search, you have GitHub Public Data Sets, University of Missouri Library, finding data sets on the internet, sites with 10 great sites for free data sets. You have Data World, you have data repositories. These are all open access data. You have the Global Terrorism Database, you have that database. And then you have 33 and free data set sources anyone can use. So I've given you a ton of data sets. Yes.
So Dr. Mo, is the expectation, we get in our Python notebook and go to town with this, or?
Yeah, well, you want to do that, but we'll talk about that as well. But these are just finding the data sets, right? So data sets, you can take advantage of any data set, right? So say you're thinking about healthcare, right? So understanding which hospitals are where. That could be part of your data set. So say if you are on the attacker end and you want to attack hospitals, you need to know where the hospitals exist. Then you can find another data set looking at the funding of hospitals, right? So knowing the hospitals and then the funding level of hospitals, why would that be important if I'm a nefarious actor?
I'm trying to find weak spots.
Huh?
Find the one with the most money so you can steal it.
Yes, I don't want it. I'm top. Plus, it's on YouTube, so I'm not gonna steal it myself. No, but yes. Also, if a hospital is lowly funded, that means they probably have piss poor IT infrastructure. It should be easier, right? So
it's like one of those things where there's no middle ground. It's either people go for the weak stuff or the really hard stuff or more money.
correct. I mean, it depends, right? So it's like robbing a bank. I never robbed a bank before, but you can think about that one big hit or a number of those. Huh?
Art forgery.
Yeah. That are just easier to obtain, right? The least amount of effort you put in. Because again, if you're saying, all right, I'm going to attack this organization, how much time and effort are you going to put into that to do that? Or say you're a consulting business, right? If you're a consulting business and you say, well, maybe I want to, and you want to think about how are you going to pitch your services? Oh, this hospital has a lot of money. Let me look at how many breaches they had. You find another data set that talks about breaches. Oh, yeah, they had a lot of breaches, but they get a lot of funding. I know how to go to this hospital and offer my services. Or there's a hospital with very little money. And so you're like, okay, I still want to work with them. I'm going to have like open access technology that they can use. So I'm going to offer them an open access solution rather than the proprietary one. I would offer the hospital that has a larger budget. Right? Global Terrorism Database. What was that database? Do you remember? We didn't forget, did we? It's only been like a couple weeks.
The one it wasn't a for hire web. No. It was it's like a database of different events, correct?
What type of events?
I wasn't sure if it was based on casualties or specifically like impact of some kind.
Go here. Let's search the one I have to travel to next. Traveling here next. All right, so it has a lot of stuff here, right? So incidents, country, attack type, target type, weapon type, perpetrator, casualties, fatalities, injuries, regions. Why would a data set like this be important? How could it be important?
Think the way policies are made.
You shape the way policies are made.
Yeah, like, the government says like, we're seeing so many attacks happening. Let's see what could be triggering that and then make those policies either prevent attacks or like investigate into them. And those policies could either help prevent these or just make more of these attacks happen.
All right, so you got that. Let's look at let's do like a lot of attacks here. Oh, good Lord. Okay. All right. So here we got more detail with the data set. How can I make this related to cybersecurity? Right. So now I know the organizations that are being attacked. I know the actual group.
Which group will attack the most?
Well, the group that does the most attack is Boko Haram.
What about the ones who got attacked the most?
Ah. So,
That might be a data privacy issue, right? With a lot of victims.
no, they would have target type. Let's go to target type. Oh, private people. Over 3,000. Private people, then military, then government, business, religious figures. Huh?
That's a weird one to attack.
Yeah, this is like mosques, churches, and stuff like that.
What would a mosque or church have that is worth attacking?
Well, I mean, say if we're talking about terrorist attacks, it could just be a religious dispute or so,
Mhm.
not necessarily.
You might be like personal.
Yeah, well, no, it's more like religious dispute or people supporting various things like Boko Haram means against Western beliefs, education. So anything that would be deemed Western. But if you're going to say cybersecurity also includes physical security, right? So you're going to offer services, right? All right. I know which organization to offer my services.
Privacy.
Exactly. In South Africa, I have family living in Johannesburg or Joburg right now, right? So in South Africa, a lot of people pay for private security. A lot of people, right? The police may not come in time. You may just be dead. They just may not come in time. So people pay for private security in their neighborhood. Whole separate from the police because they feel like the private security is more better. Therefore, in a country like that, I mean, it's not cheap either. People are willing to pay for that. So same thing you can offer. Hey, I offer this, CCTVs, all this stuff they can offer you, protect your neighborhood. Because now I understand that private citizens, are the most hit people in his target in terms of terrorist attacks. All right? So, sorry?
It's like, sounds like a glorified salesperson, honestly, like you're doing your research on this type of database, would it not be?
Yeah, you're looking at the data set, identifying opportunities or even challenges, right? If you're in a country and everything here is low, like, okay, well, I got to think about what can I sell these people? But in a country like this, oh yeah, I know exactly who my market is. I see it right here. I know my top 5 markets, right? You know your top 5 markets. So that's how this could be used. Also, this can help you set up where you place your organization at. So in here, it'll also show like the cities or the states. It'll break it out. Just click city. And if you dump this like an R or a rapid minor, then you can further divvy out the actual cities. Right? You can see exactly where something could be set up. A lot of companies have global offices. You just don't want to put them anywhere. Right? In India, what is the tech city? Is that Bangalore, right?
Yeah.
Right. So would I put something in Hyderabad or New Delhi if I was going to do tech and I wanted to get involved? I wouldn't.
Hyderabad is emerging in like
Okay. What about Delhi?
Delhi, you can.
Okay. What about like further south?
South, I don't think so.
Okay. So that would be something as well in terms of where to set up your organization operate. All right. We have that. There's also data.gov, and I'm going to pull that one up. Here's another data set. Well, yeah. So data.gov has 254,682 data sets available. All right, and click most view data sets. Look for the ones at CSV. And I can see lots of things here. So fairly easy to find data sets here. I go back here. I can look at Google Trends. And who is trending right now?
Oh, be something I can say in this class. Who I'm trying to think of like a figure that I can say in this class. It wouldn't be like Legally Dubious. There's not really many of them, geez.
I mean, people have to be trending, right?
Oh, okay, so do we want someone
Yeah, anybody.
controversial or, I guess we can go Netanyahu or
How do you spell it? You know?
not.
Maybe something
next
related to firearms.
Oh, okay.
Does it need to be a person?
No, it could be anything.
Oh, okay, then never. Okay.
Firearms. Let's do a search, explore. And you can download, you can compare other data sets and download the data sets over years here. So this would be something else. So it shows the region that is trending. Highest states, New Hampshire, Maine, North Dakota, Vermont, Montana. Related queries, the truth about guns. Target sports, serial number, and 1 gram. You just go here,
I'm gonna see it.
see what we have. All right, so that's there. And
Actually, I'm gonna look at Google Trends for what I said out loud.
all right, and then of course you can look up past 5 years. You can see the trend for the past 5 years. And you can do anything in here, right? So we can say term.
You can click the see what's trending now as well underneath on the home page. Oh, trending now. Oh, there it is. Yeah. There it shows me.
Sidney Powell, a former Trump lawyer. Okay, nothing with cybersecurity, but okay, World Cup cricket. And let's do, oh, look at the last event. Let's do And then if I put this, the actual event that happened, I think it was MGM Grand, it will pop up. Let's see. And I can see the breakdown right here. Related queries. Yeah, so this is a good tool. Then we go back to contents. There's GitHub public data sets, Google dataset search, data world. There's one here.
The topic I mentioned earlier is like spiking in DC specifically.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. DC.
Yeah. And here's data repositories here, which shows a lot of different data sets: archaeology, astronomy, physics, biology, chemistry, computer science, energy, engineering, environmental sciences, geology, geoscience, geospatial data. I do want you guys to know, in terms of geospatial data, there's an intelligence organization that their main job is to look at geospatial data to make intelligence decisions for like the military and stuff. This is how they knew that Iran was building a nuclear power and stuff. Satellite imagery is big, and it's part of the space domain, and cyber crosses into space as well.
So I'm curious, like, so does that include like the use of like the deploying of AI to find trends and like certain signatures in certain areas and whatnot, what that can mean?
Yeah.
Okay, at scale.
Yeah. Same thing with marine sciences, a lot of cyber marine sciences, marine as well, in terms of like logistics, travel, navigation. Medicine becomes an issue as well in terms of cyber. So cyber crossing everything. Cyber can cross into everything. Your job is just to find data sets, talk about it, make that connection, provide that data set link, and then that's it. And then next week, what we'll start to do is get prepared to work on our major group projects. This will take the entire month of November. It will be a not so good month, but I'll be there with you, right? You may be cursing me out at home or whatever, but it will be a month. It's just 1 month. It'll be over. You'll present your project. You'll have everything done, and then you'll be good to go. All right. So I want you guys to work on this, and I'm going to come around, and I'm hoping that you guys are able to get this done by end of class, and then we'll be able to we'll jump on other stuff. So this assignment you should not be taking long to do. Also, the Sunday, how does 6 o'clock sound? We're good. 6. Okay. I'll send out a Zoom invite for 6, and we'll meet 6.
Okay.
So think about what you want to talk about, what you want to see.
For the month of November, Dr. Moses, I also include grad papers as well.
So, oh gosh. Yeah. You're going to be really upset at me in November. But I'm going to be there with you. So like with your grad paper, like if you want to, like, so some of the Sundays I'll be extending like maybe about 2 hours. And you say, hey, I have issues on this grad paper. Can you take a look? We'll go through it. I'll give some suggestions and stuff like that. All right. So it'll be a rough December, but when rough November, when December happens, you'll be able to just like move forward. Think of this like a bad relationship, right? This is like the bad part of relationship. Like things go bad, Then it gets good. Like, okay, I left that toxic relationship. Yeah, well, that will be your December, all right?
What are we doing?
And this is individual, but, yeah, we'll be together for like completely forgot about it.
You have, are you showing your fans on your temperatures?
Yeah.
You have everything backed up. With everything.
Oh, it's raining right now. That's just great. Awesome.
In the window? What are you wearing? Is the van running? No. I would let it go.
No, actually, not very times, just like something plugged in and the beat.
Is it a battery?
No, not the matter.
Oh, I know, my issue with.
No. So they're just like right.
Our group assignment is the group, it's a source code analysis, right? Oh, that's tomorrow. I see, okay, yeah, I will be, I'll be on it, then, yeah, I will, today I will likely not be able to meet with you all because I got physics lab in the meeting, but tomorrow, for sure, this is look for to mean, I should find it. Back to.
Okay, so it's very just like big against the right up.
Where's the folder with the data set around sources? Where the data set sources I'm looking at?
It's the first announcement.
Announcements, okay, that's my.
Oh, sorry, the second announcement.
Home,
October 19th.
links to data sets, okay, gotcha.
No. I mean, like, applications.
Question. This, what is that happened in May of 2017?
Ransomware?
May of 2017 ransomware. Oh, for some reason, Google Trends gets spiked.
The WannaCry ransomware attack occurred May 12, 2017, impacted more than 200,000 users.
Yeah, literally, like, it goes from 9 to 100.
Does it ever go back down to 9?
Yes.
Well, okay, so
Next
it's,
month.
okay, wait, wait.
Well, actually, no, it goes down to 8, so.
Well, it goes, but it
Hold on,
goes
so
back.
it goes. Sorry, it's really hard to control this thing. In June it goes to 25, July 13, and then in August it goes back down to like 8. It actually only spiked, like the first spike was in December of 2004. Then it was like really low, then started getting up in 2014, and it got to the new high in like 20, like the new average of 2016, and it's been on the same amount ever since.
That's right. That's great, that goes right under Boston.
So Israel was the first country to be drones and response to cyber attack. The first country to respond to cyber attack. That happened. 2 years ago. Around the mosque.
It was like, we were in the Nashville. Boston,
For this one too, do you want to have two separate cases in comparison or just?
You talk about it. It's different. Yeah.
Like massage, whatever.
One was under, one was over. Very interesting. But apparently there was a lot of.
CSV link on data.gov is broken. Oh, they're broken. Oh, no, I go to download CSV and it's just like error. Right, quick guy, remember, if there's a broken link on like data.gov, a lot of those sites are actually put up by that city or state government. So you can always go to that page and get this information there. So everyone's supposed to, in this country, is supposed to have open data, right? Shootings, sounds bad. Anything that happens, whether good or bad, is supposed to be publicly available. So data.gov is just a central repository for everything. However, you don't know who is linking this information. So you just may have to go to the actual government's page to pull it. That's all.
We can even compare data and Google Trends.
Yeah, we can.
Absolutely.
Alright, so Israel, Palestine, Iran, Joe Biden. Joe Biden pretty well.
Yeah, great.
The Biden trend's low.
Well,
Well, I guess now maybe it's not so popular of a search.
There's also this limits to maintaining, which is called CFI limit. It's for net of investigations, and they have all the types of GeoInt and all the software things in this.
okay. Yeah, the one thing I like about these distributions that are built simply for something, you have to put it together yourself.
Yeah, and it's a course that. It's a freelance platform course, and they have all the things.
These are of course here, and they all.
No. I don't know, something. I just said PCM security, practical ethical hacking, and now that I'm practicing.
Okay. Do it online?
Yeah.
How'd you do it? Good?
It does it. Now I do Linux and Windows Privilege solution.
How long does it work?
That's just like 40 hours.
The weekend, I'm gonna bless you.
Yeah, like whenever I get, I mean, like 1 or 2 hours a day.
Yeah, you said something about Coursera?
Yes, at Coursera, and they get my job, I answer the phone, right? And so whenever someone has a problem with Coursera, I don't know where to direct them because there's no office that's officially like in charge of the Coursera thing.
Is that for Illinois Tech or?
Yes, we have a Coursera program, and it's actually like you register with us, and you are technically a student here, like you can use our services and all that. But there's nobody that like manages the Coursera like course, so if somebody has a problem with it, I don't know what to do.
By the way, I forgot to mention, I don't know if you guys know, but if you heard Professor Hayek in the back, Hayek.
Sure.
Hayek in the back. Do anybody know Hayek?
Yeah.
Do I owe you money?
Alright, so yeah, he's actually building Coursera class now,
Okay.
so.
I know what this is.
What do people do? Do you know? Like if somebody calls about Coursera,
So we had, Ray mentioned, there was a lady, Tony McGee. Her job was to be the admissions coordinator, but she quit yesterday.
she quit.
And guess what Ray said?
Oh, that was in college computing, right?
Yes, computing. So now I
And she
think,
worked for Erica, correct?
and yes, so I think Eric Cooper or Ryan Nelson might be stepping in.
So like,
It's,
No,
it's
it's
a
that
special
break,
program.
yeah,
through
because
the
it's
department.
good.
No,
And they college
through the
computing.
university.
yeah, well, they don't have like any like technically like department like contact point, so there's nowhere that anyone can go to be like, hey, my Coursera thing is a problem. Because it like, I don't see resources in house, so I just go on the website. No, no.
I mean, Dr. Cal is the project manager, we know who in the provost office and stuff.
Okay, send me an email and I'll send it to our department there.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that's an awkward position to be in.
And then this and this are first information source.
Request or
Or something.
Why?
It's all about intelligence and service, right?
It's easy.
This deals with all the intelligence organizations around the world. Mainly former British colonies.
I'm trying to understand about that.
Yeah, I used to do stuff with organizations.
Actually, Professor, I got a call from you the other day, except your extension is disconnected.
I gotta put my phone up.
So I just dropped the second I tried transferring.
Okay, it's like from the internet. Organization.
Oh, yeah.
Was it an important call or what?
I don't know. I have no idea if it's just.
Did he sound
Like,
important?
I'd like to speak to Maurice. I was like, Maurice Dawson. I was like, and he was like, yeah, that sounds right. I was like, it sounds right. I have no idea.
Yeah, I gotta get my. I'll get your help on that, Jeremy. I had this, I had him order this nice like VoIP phone. It's like it looks nice, but it's like that's better now. And it's, yeah, it's bad. Let me get it installed. Even got a headset, talking on the phone. No, it's just small. It's very compact. I don't want to take up area in the desk. I mean, you could do other stuff like put, family photos and stuff.
So I found, I pulled up ransom, like Google's like trend data for ransomware. Found that it's like here, it's hard to grab it, because when it reaches like, when it goes up this high, it's really good to grab, because May 2017.
You can see what happened.
I did mention that it was a major ransomware.
Oh, whatever.
It's probably why it spiked. The people were then searching ransomware, to understand what it was.
Oh, quick item, there's a few other places for data sets. If you go to Georgia Tech, they actually have a data repository of attacks that they run in their lab. So say they run like a virus, any type of ransomware, they'll actually capture that data and they'll put that out. So you can actually analyze and stuff like that too. We don't have to wait till like some big event, try to go on a dark web, see what's happened. You can actually see what they've done in a simulated environment. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this is count. I don't think it has enough data entries. It's like you need to have
Yeah, you would have to get those data entries. That would be the key.
because it's like, well, I'm not sure if I can like zoom in, because if it's just with months, like then yeah, it's not gonna be enough, but if it has days included, I can multiply by 30, but I assume it's enough. Because assuming I can somehow zoom in on the data, it's like basically 16, there's 19 years, 12 months, so I need to figure out how to zoom in on this. But
What about over here?
what if I can figure out-
Yeah, you can. How about over here? What you got? What you got, buddy? Okay.
Oh, it's PHP. That's nice, I can, just see it.
There's like, basically it shows, 500 entries again. 500, yeah.
Like,
And it just shows like,
Geotechs and like critical infrastructures, like energy, transportation, hospitals and whatnot.
Oh, check it out.
Yeah.
Cyber physical. So what are you gonna use it? You use it to like protect or attack yourself or what?
I'll protect.
Never know if student loans are, but you do after a year.
I guess. I'm not. brave enough to be-
How about you guys back here? What do you got? On what?
Global terrorism.
Okay, let me come around to you.
Okay, that's staying.
All right, let me go to this first, I'll go right back. Got an DTD. What country it is?
I just added another pack. You
probably want to change that line to pi.
Consumer.
Oh, okay, have it.
I tried linking it with the ad.
You can see like the favorites is line, pi, yeah.
Hey, no, the more people complain, they're super angry, they're gonna say information. Granted, that's very much the right.
I know they try to see because you know a lot of the work. So that's. Yeah. Move your mouse over, does it show a color? No, it doesn't, not a color, but name. Oh, the other thing is, if you have a lot of data and you really want to analyze it, I would highly recommend downloading it and using RapidMiner. Because you can download everything and put in RapidMiner, or using the GCD database, or any of them.
Oh, right, what?
RapidMiner.
Oh, right. Is that like, so does that like automate things such as like any sort of Python or R analysis?
It's like, if you're using like GCD, it's like this is the cheat GUI, right? It's the boring GUI, but if you want like something that's very transformative, RapidMiner would be the tool. Right, which we're the highest ones.
Yeah, it was the private citizen.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Cybersecurity fraud, it could be like, homeland security would be tied to cybersecurity, business security, intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's stretching that.
Yeah, like say if you're thinking about disinformation and misinformation, right? Think about the country that uses Facebook the most. You guys know? What country uses Facebook the most in the world? So I'll give you a hint. I don't think anybody here represents that country ethically.
Maybe Russia?
Philippines.
Oh.
They use Facebook the most for communicating. What does that mean? If you're going to run a disinformation campaign or protect against it, you need to think about the particular app and how to control what gets pushed out of the app.
Yeah. Yeah, this is getting no percent right. What are you doing? It's our code.
Is it free? Hey, go back. I saw something. I could download it. Download it.
Yeah, start up.
CSV. Yeah. Oh, so, okay, let's see.
Very well made.
It's just like thinking, I think that plus
What are you trying to search? Or are you just trying to go to the website
I'm
there?
just trying to use Google Trends. It changed the dates of 5 years. And
I don't know. I think it's.
This would be good for most people to do this.
I don't think,
Let's see.
I mean, if we just, we're just right up, I think you're just like that.
Like, I mean, now we're selecting the database, are we, supposed to upload that as well?
Yeah, upload that.
I just downloaded the crime data report in 1.5 billion number.
Oh my gosh.
Don't tell your family that when you call you like, oh, how are things in Chicago? Interesting.
And you have the database.
I mean, that's like over like 20 years. It's not like over the last year, right? Over the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so heads up, Chicago's actually gotten safer than 10 years, or 20 years ago. So Chicago's getting safer, believe it or not. It really is.
Somehow.
No, it is. Our murders are down and everything, like. As safe as it gets.
The guy was like this at me, and I was like,
At the train,
no, across my house.
you live in the city.
No, I live in the south. I mean,
What's in the south? South what?
by like this is Alphabet Avenue Road, 73rd. I'm like right across from Indian.
Oh,
Yeah.
someone pulled it down.
Well, he was like this at me, and I was like, and I was looking. I was in my car. He was walking across the street. And I was like, if anything happens, I'm in higher power because I could just
Run him over.
exactly. I was thinking like,
Honest.
And technically, if you had your own gun, it would take them. You probably shoot them before you get it taken out. So it's not really not much danger if you have your own piece.
because he was like this, and I'm like, I don't see no outline, my guy. What's happened here? I just.
But it's still.
See, anytime we park in my garage, my dad, someone comes up from the garage. Dr. Mo, running people over is,
People are happy.
yeah. Being able to run someone over that may be a threat is the main reason my dad remains in drive when closing the garage door. Just for that reason.
I own a little friend for fishing
Yeah.
in five sub-regions. The most popular areas are Maryland, Virginia, and District of Columbia. There's all the government people who do it.
Well, I mean, all the people trying to get government contractors to give information.
I mean, I was doing fishing worldwide and it's.
Washington State,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, I don't, for some reason it's
Are
third.
you sure they didn't mean like Fishing,
They said
fishing.
Washington.
Microsoft and Amazon.
Weirdly enough, it
Oh,
looks like Russia actually has more fishing tags than America.
really?
Yeah, like I have it set for worldwide and Russia has 51%, while US has 47. Canada somehow has 48 as well, which
Really?
Maybe it's a.
oh no, I get
It could, it could be.
I'm just, so what this is saying like how many of each is searched.
Okay.
That coming up?
This is weird.
Is it a CSV or?
But you can see a light red map for a better.
Okay, so I understand how this works.
No, it's not.
So like, why does China have a 1% DDoS?
It's currently, right?
That's why I extracted from it. Any blue ones? Huh. Weirdly enough, ransomware doesn't really need search anywhere.
It's just a place to file.
Hey, Mr. Maurice, is it weird that like how looking at how this region thing works, it breaks it down based on how much each is searched in each country? And weirdly enough, none of them have ransomware as their biggest thing. No country that's being reported here. It's either denial of service, but it's mostly a phishing. Looks like anyway.
You think about ransomware really does hit organizations, not really, I mean, people get hit with ransomware, but it's not like it's scale of organizations. And then another thing in this country, if you want the FBI to act on a ransomware attack, it has to meet a certain dollar threshold. So they won't react at all. Yeah, even in St. Louis, when you have a crime, I still remember I got there was a car accident. And I called the police and said, hey, you know, I've been here waiting 2 hours for the police to show up. You know, the car was totaled. The guy said, look, we have 3 murders and we just caught somebody, an information officer that was wanted for murder and we just chasing on the street. Like, You got to wait, buddy. Like you're not a party. We have. He told me. We have actual words. Like you're at the low end. Oh, okay. Yeah. But the same thing with ransomware attacks in sense in general. You need to hit certain dollar thresholds for certain organizations involved. Because when you look at the jobs out there and the amount of people that are actually in those jobs, there's just no way. You have Liberty Calc? Because I wonder if you open it there. Way to open. Yeah, open it in Calc. Right there. We do okay, let's take a look. No rush. I don't know what that is, but must be a very large data set. Take a while. Send me the link to the data set now. Take a look at what I get home. All right, so you have some time left, not much time, about 5 minutes. Any questions at all? Any questions? No questions, no questions. All right, so I'm gonna post a video, Dr. Anna Maria is gonna be talking about cyber. And then I'll send out the links, the Zoom meeting links. Because when I have the speaker, they'll come from other classes and other places. And so it just won't come into this class, but I'll have a separate link for these particular talks. So for those that want to move to the great state of Iowa and work in defense, a director from that organization will be speaking as well. Yeah, that look like now. You won't move there, right?
Anything for international student? Yeah.
No, oh, this is the place. Like if you need sponsorship, Iowa will, they will help you. They need people.
It is the least.
But they need clearance as well, right?
Huh?
They need clearance as well.
No, so this company, they do commercial events,
Okay.
but the problem with this company is, for years, they don't have diverse candidates. So diversity to this company is anything that's non-white outside of Iowa, Minnesota, and Dakotas. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Iowa, like the whitest city in America was Iowa years ago. I mean, it's not an area that people want to go to. It's like, I'm gonna go to Iowa. What's it, Iowa? Build the dreams?
Yeah, farmland and a little bit of mountains.
Iowa's flat.
Oh, Iowa. I think
It's flat and there's corn.
like Idaho, maybe.
Yeah, Idaho.
Idaho.
Yeah, no, it's not as exciting as
It's
Idaho.
so unremarkable. I can't even get the right state.
Yeah, even choosing the corn is not even from Iowa, it's Nebraska. But yeah. But they need people back. And it's difficult to get people to relocate there. When I was there, much younger, they used to get 3 weeks of vacation a year, no matter what. You had 3 weeks. But yeah, 2-week winter shutdown.
Oh.
So what would happen during the winter shutdown, people would leave during the shutdown, and never come back. So they would recruit like blacks and Hispanics from like down south, like, Atlanta, Houston, extremely warm weather. You go to Iowa, like, oh my God, it's just cold.
It's Cedar Rapids.
Yes.
Like I'm chilling in Cedar Rapids.
There's a couple movies about Cedar Rapids, but Ashton Kutcher's family is from Cedar Rapids. Like it's a big thing. So people would leave after those 2 weeks and it would go down, they would go work and they would like, no, this isn't for me. And they would just leave. But a lot of friends that I knew that need sponsorship, they would get sponsored. So they couldn't recruit anybody. It got so bad at one time, like a lot of the blacks that they were Black Canadians. And they're like, oh man, this place is so warm. Like, where are you from? Oh, okay, up there in Alberta, okay, yeah, guess it's better than that. But yeah, but the company gave me a lot of, I got a lot of, hands-on experience, like majority of my engineering experience, my hardcore engineering experience came from that company. Got all types of crazy opportunities because no one was there to take it. It was like 23 managing like millions of dollars in a budget. Only there, they're like, oh yeah, well, you want to manage this program? Well, yeah, sure. And I did because they needed people to do the job. So it's a good place. Exciting? No. Is it good? Yes. The company is great. The area is, if you're gonna find your spouse, you're not gonna find them there, like. This is where arranged marriage and stuff comes in, like you need it for this. But yeah, so if you're interested, do an individual talk. And then he'll share some links and then, further work that stuff out because they have a pretty good recruitment team. They come, they recruit, they need people for cyber. They have general IT as well. If you're thinking of like the Boeing platforms, all the avionics that are on there, the displays and stuff like that, and the entertainment system, that's all Collins stuff. So Collins does all types of really cool stuff. Now, if you're a US citizen and you want to work at some cool mission systems, oh, it's the company there. You're going to be doing some really cool mission-oriented stuff. There's like buildings there that are, pretty much just classified work. It's a great company. I can say that. It's a great company. Location? I don't know, but. All right, you guys enjoy. I will see you guys this weekend. Think about what you want to talk about. Sure. Do you want to have open access? Go to that OWASP website. It's something that is Deloitte. Yeah, open source, and you use that.
I don't think so. I think we've got to meet up like tomorrow. I think our job should be okay. Yeah, I think let's just like meet asynchronously. Yeah.
There's many other ones.
No.
Come on now.
It's an SCP, literally. See about a CP.
That's it.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Now this, okay, this looks.
All right, what are we happy about? This is O.
Have you heard of SCP with?
No, I haven't. What is that?
It's simply a collaborative